Hello, this is Juniper of Sola V Studio, and welcome to my backyard. Oh my goodness, kitty sitting. Today I'd like to talk about rhythm, and the rhythm of how we choose to spend our days. And one of the things that I've decided to do is I have decided to do a drawing in the mornings every single day. And part of the reason why I put this back into my life is last year, my daughter challenged me to Inktober. For those of you who don't know, Inktober is where people, I believe, but I'm not for sure, that it's where people do an ink drawing every day for the month of October. And there's many of prompt lists. There's one official prompt list, and so she challenged me to do it last year. And so about right now, a year ago, I was figuring out how to set up an Instagram page and doing that whole thing. So I purchased this little sketchbook last year, and it's square because I had been drawing mandalas for a few years and I wanted to stretch myself. And so for the month of October of 2017, I did a mandala, except for one day. One day I did not, for each of the daily prompts. And the other challenge for myself not only was making it small, well, I chose a smaller size instead of the 12 by 12 that I normally worked in, to make it less time consuming. I can spend a long time on one drawing. So here was, and the other challenge, was I was going to do everything in grayscale. With the mandalas, I generally like to do a lot of bright, flashy colors. So doing everything in grayscale was an additional challenge for me. So here's, it's all backwards. Anyways, there's a prompt list, and so each day I would do a drawing. This was Swift, and I would post it on Instagram. And for me, it was a huge challenge because I didn't have any Instagram friends or whatever, but to put myself out there in the artist community, as an artist, and even if it wasn't the best mandala I'd ever drawn, to post it up anyways. Because sometimes, like, I do really like this one, but then the next day, it was this one. So it taught me to be patient, because not every day am I going to be able to create an absolute masterpiece. So each day for the month, and some days I had to draw more than one because I didn't like what I drew. Like, that's an unfinished crow drawing for Screech, because I ended up doing Screech owls. But it was an interesting exercise, and also it gave me an opportunity to look at what other creators were doing with the same theme. And there's a lot of different, it's completely fascinating. So whether you want, anyone can participate in Inktober. You don't have to put up your work. But even if don't consider yourself an artist, still want to draw, go for it. If not, if you're just curious, hashtag Inktober 2018 or hashtag Inktober 2017, and such a variety of talented creators will pop up. And so it was a good exercise in facing my fears. I've had a fear of drawing since I believe third grade. I was obsessed with horses. And in my obsession with horses, I drew them and drew them and drew them, but I could never, horses are really, for me, tricky because they're an interesting combination of straight and curved lines. And as a, third grader, I wasn't very good at drawing horses, picture perfect. And then all of a sudden, my younger sister picked up a pen and a piece of paper, a pencil and a piece of paper, and she drew a horse. Oh, there goes the heron. Better than I had ever drawn one. And so that's when I stopped drawing. But up until that point, I was drawing every day for hours. And that's when I stopped. And for some reason as a child, I got it in my head, but my sister, the other thing was, my parents were always complimenting her drawings. And I don't remember them complimenting my drawings. Even though I spent hours and hours and hours drawing, I don't remember any compliments from them, but they were always complimenting her and talking about her drawing skills to other people. So that put it in my head that it wasn't something I was good at, and it wasn't something that I should invest my time in. And as the years went by, I found myself getting a bachelor's degree in fine arts. And drawing classes were an inevitable part of the art program, which was terrifying and so time-consuming. But what I realized in the drawing classes is not everyone has the style of photorealism, whereas it is it's beautiful. Photorealism is beautiful. But I kind of got this bad attitude toward photorealism. It's like, okay, well, that's why I'm taking photography classes. If I wanted something to be exactly like I see it, I'll just snap a photo of it. So what's the freaking point of having to draw photorealistically? At some point in my life, I'm getting better and better and better at drawing photorealistically. I'm still not perfectly there. At some point in my life, kitty claws. I would really like to draw photorealistically, but at the same time, cameras are always there, and especially now, because back then when I was taking photography, it was before digital photography was a thing. I spent hours in the photo lab developing my black and white film and using enlargers and printing it on light-sensitive paper and putting it through the 3 chemicals and letting it dry till the next day, hoping that I had let the chemicals drip off properly so they didn't leave those funny blotchy brown marks on my paper or on my photo. Oh goodness. So it's been a journey, this drawing journey. So last year, honey, when my daughter challenged me to draw every day and to put it up online, it was terrifying. So terrifying. But then again, if you had asked me right now, if a year ago, if it was scary for me to put up a drawing that I did online, and that's before I had it connected to my Facebook account, so the actual people that I know in my life, they weren't even seeing those drawings. But then they started trickling in over time. But I just, at this point, it's part of who I am. And whether it's a perfect drawing or not, I mean, it's still a part of me. It still captures the essence of that moment. But if you asked me a year ago when I was creating my Instagram account if I would be making YouTube videos, I would have said absolutely, positively, no way will I ever. So, never say never. But that creative aspect, so okay, back to my childhood. I let drawing go. But creativity is such a part of who I am as a person that it came out in other forms. Oh, I was gonna go grab something from the house. For me, around the same, so I quit drawing horses. But then a little while later, in that winter, I became really sick and I had, I think, walking pneumonia or something like that. So I had to stay home from school for many, many days because I couldn't breathe and I was coughing horribly. And I got so bored, so incredibly bored, that I grabbed a crochet hook and some black and some green yarn, and I taught myself how to crochet because I had seen my grandmother's and my mother crocheting. So I taught myself how to crochet in 3rd grade. And without a pattern or anyone helping me, I crocheted a pair of slippers. And I still crochet. Sometimes it's fast. It's fun. It feels good. So I crocheted for years and years and years before I learned how to knit. And at this point, when, like, for example, when my kids were small, my son asked me to make a phoenix. And I was like, a phoenix? So I sat down with red and yellow and orange yarn, and with no pattern or anything else, I knit a phoenix. And I wish I had gotten it to show you. But it's just one of those things that's just one of my gifts, I guess, is I can sit down with a piece of string and basically a stick with a little hook on the end, and I can create 3D things. I can make clothing, I can make whatever. And just how my brain is wired, I don't need a pattern. I can just kind of do it. Same with sewing. I mean, back in the day, it was Barbie clothes. I would get into my mom's scrap fabric bag and cut out Barbie clothes. Man, did I make some weird stuff. But it's just one of those things. Like, I tried to avoid my creativity, but it's a part of me. So the reason why I'm telling this story, I know it's getting a bit long, but is there something that you were gifted at? It might be cooking. It might be reading aloud. It might be singing. It might be playing an instrument. It might be any number of things that you're talented at. Are you spending time every day developing that talent? Whether or not you're going to use it as a source of income doesn't matter. But to me, in the times of my life where I haven't been creating things, it creates this sense of being unsettled, of being discontented. And it happened especially when my children were really young, and I was trying to keep the house clean. I was trying to keep the quarter-acre mowed, the gardens weeded and planted, taking care of the kids, doing all the business paperwork that needed to be done, doing the cooking, grocery shopping, And I didn't really make time to create things. And in those times where I didn't have a project, I was a grumpy bear. So for myself, and maybe it's not the same for you, but when I take time to further develop my talents, I'm a much happier person. And so I make it a point to, okay, after the kitchen is cleaned after dinner, that is my fiber time. And right now in the mornings, that is my drawing time. I have a window. And I don't know how it's going to work for you in your life, but if you did want to participate in Inktober, which is really fun, even if you don't consider yourself a good artist, I encourage you to jump on Instagram, hashtag Inktober 2018. Find a prompt list, there's many that you might enjoy, and find some way to explore that topic in a creative way. Maybe you're going to write a song about blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can post, they do have IGTV, just say. Maybe it's to write a funny little song about the prompt. Maybe it's to cook a meal around the prompt. I mean, wouldn't it be funny to make a meal around the prompt of run? And maybe it's in not only what you cook, but in how you plate the food, and then take a photo of it. Or maybe it's just photography. As you are walking through your day, most people have smartphones. See someone running, or see a creature running, take a picture of it, put that up. Maybe photography is your creative outlet, whatever it may be. So, develop your talents as a form of loving yourself. Make time for yourself. You're important. Okay, blessings on your day.